The Cleveland Cavaliers select Anthony Bennett of Toronto, Canada, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Anthony Bennett.
What is up, YouTube? It's Corsair Reports, and I'm back for another video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how Anthony Bennett got back to the NBA and his overall story. First, I'm going to need you to venture into your memory. Nah, I'm just playing. But think back to the 2013 NBA draft, where the struggling Cleveland Cavaliers were granted the first overall pick in the draft. This draft class contained guys like CJ McCollum, Victor Oladipo, and even Giannis Antetokounmpo, a future MVP. Obviously, people didn't know how these players would play in the NBA. With that being said, shockingly, the Cavs decided to draft Anthony Bennett, a power forward at a UNLV. Even the commentators were shocked. But Anthony Bennett had a pretty good freshman season at UNLV. Anthony Bennett was also really good in high school. He was 6'8", 245. He averaged 16 points per game and 8 rebounds per game. He also had a very high player efficiency rating, and he was named the Mountain West Player of the Year. Bennett had injury concerns coming into the NBA because of a couple shoulder injuries in college. With that being said, he had a very mediocre first season in the NBA. He only played 52 games. He averaged 4.2 points per game and 3 rebounds per game. This obviously upset the Cleveland Cavaliers. They wanted their first overall pick to come in and dominate, but he did not. He was sent back to the Summer League next season. He had a decent 2014 Summer League season. Because of this, he attracted the interest of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were currently rebuilding. He was involved in the blockbuster Andrew Wiggins trade that eventually netted the Cavs Kevin Love, eventually resulting in a championship for Cleveland. Bennett improved on Minnesota, but he wasn't a part of their overall plan moving forward. Anthony Bennett averaged 5.2 points per game and 3.8 rebounds per game. He also improved his field goal percentage to finally make it above 40% for the first time in his NBA career. Sadly, he was waived by the Timberwolves, and he signed a deal with the Toronto Raptors. He did not play well in his first 19 games with the team, with a shooting percentage of under 30%, so he was sent down to Raptors 905, which is their D-League team. He had a decent D-League season. He was able to develop his game without the pressure of the NBA. He was eventually waived by the Raptors in 2016. He was signed by the Brooklyn Nets in the 2016 offseason. He averaged 5 points per game and 3.4 rebounds per game, as he was able to get his field goal percentage back above 40%. He only played 23 games for the Nets, and then he was assigned to the Nets D-League team. He played alright, but he was eventually waived. In 2017, he signed a 2-year deal with an international team named Fenerbahce. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. It's a Turkish team. He averaged just over 1 point per game. On the bright side, Fenerbahce was able to win the Turkish League championship, defeating their rivals. Sadly, he was released later that offseason. Most basketball players would give up at this point, but Bennett kept pushing forward and training harder. He was signed by the Phoenix Suns D-League affiliate. He bounced around the D-League for a while, until he finally was traded to the Agua Caliente Clippers in 2018, which was last season. He started to turn it up last season in the G League. He averaged 12.2 points per game and 4.3 rebounds per game. He also averaged just under a steal per game and half a block per game. With that season, you can obviously attract a little bit of attention from an NBA team, and that's what Anthony did. Here we are, present day 2019. The Houston Rockets must have saw some potential in the still young 26-year-old Anthony Bennett. He was signed to the Houston Rockets. Now, for my opinion on this, I think this is a great signing. To give a former number 1 draft pick another chance at the NBA, Anthony Bennett has been grinding to get back to the NBA, and the grind finally paid off. I believe that Anthony Bennett just wasn't ready for the pressure of being the number 1 pick that Cleveland fans put on him. Obviously, he was going to be a lottery pick, but number 1, I just believe, is too high for him. And I think that pressure resulted in his lack of a good season for Cleveland and for Minnesota, because the fans and media were putting a lot of pressure on him because he was a former number 1 pick. Now, I think that pressure's diminished, and I think he's learned a lot from his experience in the G League. He's even said it himself. He's learned a lot, and he's been able to hone in his skills. We'll just have to wait and see how he plays in the NBA. I think he's going to have a good season with the Rockets and stay in the NBA. Make sure to drop your opinions down in the comment section below. And make sure to like and subscribe. I'm on the road to 100 subscribers. Thank you guys for 72. That's what I have when I'm recording this video. So yeah, thank you guys for 72. I'm trying to get to 100. So tell your friends about Courtside Reports and let's join Courtside Nation. Have a great day.